You're asking God for more while ignoring what he already gave you. And that might be the very reason you feel empty, not because your life is lacking, but because your eyes have been trained to overlook what matters most. Pause for a second. What if the problem isn't your life? What if it's what you've learned to focus on? Because most people don't feel unblessed. They feel unseen in their own lives. And that's dangerous. Because when you can't recognize what God has already done, you start believing he's not doing anything at all. Now stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 5 signs that you are already blessed, even if your life doesn't feel like it right now. And the 5th one, almost nobody notices it, but it might be the clearest proof that God has never left your side. Don't miss that. This isn't just a video, this is a moment of clarity. Let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time you looked at your life without comparing it, without rushing it, without judging it, just seeing it as it is? Because they don't want your life to be full. They want your mind to stay distracted. And distraction is the fastest way to feel empty in a life that isn't. The first sign you're already blessed is this: you still have peace after everything. Not perfect peace, not constant calm, but moments, small moments where your mind slows down, where your chest doesn't feel tight, where for a second you can breathe again. Now pause. That should not be possible after what you've been through. Think about that. Some people went through less than you and lost themselves completely. They smile, but they don't sleep. They function, but they never feel safe inside. So if you can still find even a little peace, that is not normal. That is protection. But here's what most people miss. They think peace only counts when life is easy. That's the lie. Real peace shows up when life isn't easy, when nothing makes sense, and somehow you're still here. Jesus didn't promise a life without trouble. He promised presence in the middle of it, which means this: your peace is not random, it's guarded. You're not falling apart, you're being held together. And here's the line: if chaos didn't destroy your soul, God was protecting something sacred inside you. Now let me ask you, what should have broken you, but didn't? The second sign you are already blessed is this: you still have someone who truly cares. Maybe it's not many. Maybe it's not who you expected. Maybe it's not loud, but it's real. And that changes everything. Because here's the truth nobody says out loud. Some people are surrounded and completely alone. They have conversations, but no connection. They have people, but no one who actually sees them. They don't want depth. They want convenience. So the moment things get heavy, they disappear. But if there is even one person in your life who stays, who listens, who checks on you when you go quiet, who tells you the truth, not just what feels good, that is not common. That is rare. But here's the trap. You keep replaying who left over and over, and slowly you become blind to who stayed. A pain magnifies absence, but healing notices presence. You're not alone. You're selectively supported. And one real connection is more valuable than 100 temporary ones. Here's the line: if someone knows your broken parts and stays anyway, you are deeply blessed. So pause. Who in your life has quietly been there while you were busy grieving someone else? Stay with me, because this next one is deeper than it feels. The third sign you are already blessed is this: you still feel conviction. And I know that doesn't feel like a blessing. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like tension, like something inside you is whispering, this isn't who you're meant to be. But listen carefully. That voice, that's not shame. That's God. Because shame says you've gone too far. Conviction says, come back. Shame pushes you into hiding. Conviction pulls you into healing. It's not condemnation, it's invitation. And if you can still feel that, that means your heart is still alive. Now think about this. The real danger is not feeling bad. The real danger is feeling nothing. Because when conviction disappears, so does direction. Numbness is not peace, it's disconnection. You're not too far gone, you're being called closer. And here's the line. A heart that still feels is a heart God is still reaching. So ask yourself honestly, are you lost or are you being guided back? Now pause, because this next one, this is where most people get frustrated. The fourth sign you are already blessed is this. You still have enough for today. And not everything. Not clarity, not certainty, not the full picture, but enough. And I know this one can feel disappointing because you wanted more by now. More stability, more answers, more progress. But God often works one day at a time. Daily strength, daily provision, daily mercy. But here's the trap. You keep chasing tomorrow and overlooking today. You wake up anxious. You compare timelines. You feel behind. And slowly, you start calling your life not enough. But let me tell you something. You're not behind. You're being led. It's not lack, it's process. A seed doesn't look impressive, but it's still alive. And just because something is not visible yet, doesn't mean it's not growing. They don't want your life to unfold. They want you to quit before it does. So if you still have breath, if you still have strength, if you still have another chance today, that is not small. That is mercy. Here's the line. If you made it through today, God is not finished with you. Now ask yourself, have you been measuring your life by what's missing instead of what's sustaining you? And now on the fifth sign, the one most people overlook, the quiet one, the powerful one. You still have hope, even if it's weak, even if it's tired, even if it's barely there. That small voice that says, maybe things can still change. That matters more than you think, because hope is not emotion. Hope is resistance. It's your soul refusing to agree with darkness. Now here's what most people get wrong. They think hope only counts when it feels strong. No, weak hope is still hope. And tired hope is still hope. Shaking hope is still hope. You're not naive. You're still fighting. Because when someone truly loses hope, they stop trying. They stop believing. They stop showing up. But you're still here. You're still listening. That means something inside you refused to die. And that is not random. That is God. Here's the line. If hope is still alive in you, God is still working on you. Now this is the shift. This is where everything changes. Being blessed is not about having a perfect life. It's about having evidence of God in the middle of a real one. It's not about having more. It's about seeing clearly. You're not lacking. You're overlooking. They don't want your life to be meaningful. They want your perception to stay shallow. Let this sink in. You thought blessing would look like success, but sometimes it looks like survival. You thought blessing would mean no pain, but sometimes it means not being destroyed by it. You thought blessing would be obvious, but God often works quietly and quietly. He's been there the whole time, in the peace you couldn't explain, in the person who didn't leave, in the conviction that kept calling you higher, in the provision that kept you going, in the hope that refused to die. You're not forgotten. You're not late. You're not invisible. You're being held. So before you ask God for more, pause and ask yourself something deeper. What have I been ignoring that is actually grace? What have I been calling normal that is actually a blessing? What have I overlooked that God has been faithfully sustaining. Because once you see it, everything shifts. Your anxiety softens, your comparison fades, your heart steadies, your faith grows. And maybe your life was never empty. Maybe your vision was, but not anymore. If this opened your eyes, even a little, don't scroll away like it meant nothing. Type blessed